the Extension Agriculture Institute, your connection to the latest agriculture and horticulture research from the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
There are many different ways to put seeds in the ground. Like these beans were seeded with a drill. This is a seed drill. And this is a Earthway brand seed drill. New, they're about $100. You can find them used for between $50 and $100. The seed goes here in the hopper, and there's different plates for different size seeds. This one is for beans or peas. This one is for beets or chard. This one is for spinach or radish. This one is for cabbage. So you can see that you choose your seed plate by how big your seed is. The seed plate goes inside and locks on the wheel. As you push the machine forward, this wheel turns. And as this wheel turns through the belt, it turns the seed plate. And the seed plate goes through and picks up a seed. It drops it in here, down the chute, and in the soil. Here's the seed plate for beans. We can put it in, lock the seed plate in, and now as the wheel turns, the front wheel, the seed plate will scoop up seeds, drop them into the chute, and then they will come down into the soil. Depending on the size of your seed, you may want it more deep or more shallow in the soil. This shoe can be adjusted up and down right here. And then I can tighten on this wing nut so that as I'm going through the soil, the wheel is turning here. It's moving the seed plate to drop seeds. The seeds come down in the shoe, and they're covered up by this chain and pressed on by this wheel. For weeding tools, it's very important that your rows are straight and parallel to each other. They can't be curved or your tools won't fit. Many seed drills have a row marker, so this will come down, and I can set this to mark whatever I want my other rows at, so that as I'm seeding, this is making a mark in the soil, and when I come back to do this row, I can follow right there where it marked, so all my rows are perfectly parallel. This is another kind of seed drill, another way to put seeds in the soil accurately and at the right depth. This is called a Planet Junior seeder. They're not made anymore. You can't buy them new, but you can buy them used for between $80 to $300 used. You can get them to go on the back of a tractor, or you can get with handles to push in the field. Like most seed drills, this has a wheel up front, and it drives by a gear this shaft. So you can see as the wheel turns, it turns this shaft. This is the seed hopper where the seeds go. Inside, you can see the agitator, those brushes, and as the front wheel turns, it turns that agitator to tickle the seeds and make them fall through into the soil. Depending on the size of the seed, you will want to use a different size plate so that the seed goes through it at the right rate. So here you can see the suggestions. Here's the type of seed, beans, beet, cabbage, and you can see the hole number that they suggest, 38, 22, 5. And then it tells you if you put it on that hole number, you should get this many seeds per foot. So for bean seeds, on hole number 38, they think we should get 8 seeds per foot. It's important to use this only as a guide because this was made 60, 80 years ago, and the size of our seeds now has changed. So you can test it, put it at the right hole that you think you need, and run it on the ground first and see if the seed comes out enough. These are some of the seed plates for this machine. Each machine will have 3 different plates. Here is one of the seed plates. You can see that the holes start out big and get smaller. So even for very small seeds like arugula or clover, you can select the right hole to fit that. Here's another plate that is a lot bigger, maybe for peas or corn. And the middle size, this is 1, this goes up to 30, is actually in there right now, because the middle size we are using when we seeded these beans. So these beans were seeded with this tool. The seeds go from the hopper through the seed plate, down the chute, and here's the shoe where they're put in the soil. The shoe can be adjusted. You can see these teeth. Depending on what type of seed and your conditions, you can plant them deeper or more shallow. And then this on the back covers the seeds with soil. And finally, the press wheel presses the soil down. There are many different ways to put plants in the ground. We talked about the seed drills, and there are also ways to put plants in the ground. This is called the paper pot transplanter. There are many different ways to get seeds and plants in the ground. This is a way to put in very small plants very quickly. You can see these are the paper pots. These are beans that were seeded 1 week ago. These are 2 inches apart, these cells, but you can get them either 4 or 6 inches apart for different crops. People will commonly do lettuce, spinach, turnip, radish, beans, peas with this tool. It can be nice because you can germinate the seeds in the safety and good conditions of the greenhouse and bring your plants out here in the field to grow more certainly than putting seeds in the soil. There are 2 different parts to this system. One is the transplanter, but the other are the trays and the paper pots and the associated machinery needed to seed these. So when you buy this tool, you also need to get trays and paper pots as well. The way the tool works, there's a shoe here that will make a furrow in the soil. The plants will go in that furrow, and over here will close up around them. To start transplanting, we'll pull out the first end of the pot. You can see the bean roots here are ready to start growing into the soil, a good size. We'll pull it out. We'll put here. We'll put a stick or something in the soil to hold it. These beans were planted at a good depth. You can see the surface of the pot is about equal with the surface of the soil. We could come back with a hoe and just put the soil back around them so that they don't dry out too fast. This is lettuce mix that was transplanted 2 weeks ago in 2-inch pots. And here you can see if we pull away, you can see the pots here. And you can see the roots are growing out into the soil. And this was a 2-inch spacing. There are different spacings to the pots. This is head lettuce, and you can see that this is a 6-inch spacing, so the heads can grow out. If you wanted more space, when you were seeding them, you could skip 1 pot, and now I have 1 foot spacing for the head lettuce to grow into. Here are beets that were transplanted 2 weeks ago with the paper pot. And you can see them growing, and here are the roots growing out through the paper pot into the soil. This is kohlrabi, and these were seeded into pots with a 6-inch spacing, but every other pot was skipped. Here, skipped there. So these kohlrabi have 1 foot space in between. Here's turnip, transplanted 2 weeks ago with the paper pot transplanter. Here's a 4-inch spacing between the plants. We looked at 2-inch with the beans. We looked at 4-inch with the head lettuce. Here's another 4-inch for turnips.